Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round 4 of the AOR Hype Season 20 PC F1 League. We are here on the streets of Shanghai at the Shanghai International Circuit for the Chinese Grand Prix. Always a fun one, this, with changeable track conditions, weather changes, and a whole lot more in prospect. What will come into fruition in today's race? A new winner, maybe? We got a new winner last time out in Vietnam. Could someone spring from the outside and take the win here in China to make the championship battle all that more interesting, even at the early stages of the season? The track that we've all come to know and love, I say love, it's been a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to its reputation for the actual Grand Prix events, but the drivers here at AOR always seem to add that fresh element of excitement wherever we go. 5.45 kilometers with 16 turns, 9 to the right and 7 to the left, with 2 DRS zones down the start-finish straight and down to turn 14, which unsurprisingly are the 2 main action zones to watch out for, especially on the first lap. Always nerve-wracking as a driver making your way through the first few corners on the opening lap, trying to avoid contact from in front, the side and even from behind. Our PC lot showing how it's done last season. However, the major overtaking spot is down to turn 14, where some good slipstream and DRS down the kilometre back long straight offers drivers a good chance of doing just that. The tyres do struggle at the circuit. The softs may be very quick, but are a horrific race tyre, so the drivers need to be wary of that. As we head into qualifying, my name is James Costello, and I'll be one of your commentators for tonight's race. And joining me once again is my partner in crime, Jens. Good evening, mate. Hopefully, today should be quite an interesting Grand Prix. China is always one of those interesting races where it's quite unpredictable, and it always produces some excitement as well.
Yeah, it certainly does. We've seen it countless times, not just here at China, but everywhere we go we get some fantastic races. But certainly down this very long back straight, that's where we'll see a lot of drivers really go for it, and sometimes we've even seen drivers be a bit too eager coming down the end and breaking a bit of their front wing, spicing up their own race and sometimes their co-driver's race.
Well, here in qualifying, obviously we've got 15.5 minutes to go and we have 12 drivers, so keeping up the trend of losing one driver per round, but we should have a fascinating Grand Prix. Obviously we have last week's race winner Andrea in one of the Mercedes. Obviously, Camille, the championship leader, still, even despite DNFing last time out, is here as well. And we've got drivers like Tom and Alessio, Kevin, Warren, who finished on the podium last time out. So we have most of the usual suspects. And if to put a race on like we saw in Vietnam last week, then yeah, it's going to be interesting. And we saw a lot of strategy elements come into play last week, and we should be expecting the exact same. All the drivers who have come out at the moment, all of them are out on the soft tyres. Kevin is the only one who's fitted the mediums, although he's currently in the pits. I wonder if we'll see anyone opt for the mediums to start their race, or maybe even go on to the hards like we've seen Camille do. And obviously he made that strategy work in Bahrain in round 2. We'll see if the Polish driver decides to do something similar here in Shanghai.
it certainly wouldn't surprise me here at this track with the amount of tyre wear you get on those soft tyres. Really not a tyre you want to be on in the race, but if you are going to be at the top in qualifying, you need to be on it. So it's very much that strategic gamble of, do you go for the track position, or do you rather want to have a better first stint come the race? But it looks like most of the drivers are opting for the soft tyre and opting for that bit worse stint at the start. But of course we haven't seen what they're going to produce come the end of qualifying. A couple of drivers maybe just out feeling the circuit, although Michael and Philip up at the front already putting in some rather quick lap times. Not the fastest we'll see, but already putting in some lap times that they probably won't beat if they go out on a set of hards or even a medium tyre.
I already see some drivers making mistakes, getting valid lap times. Alessio down in P5. Obviously took pole last time out in Vietnam, and Winner took pole, provisional pole at the moment with 1:28.7. That's a very quick lap time from the Ferrari driver, but obviously he got his lap time validated. The main source of a valid lap time, you'd imagine, is probably at the final corner, which is probably the worst time to actually get in a bad lap time. But that final corner is so tricky, especially when you're on a good lap and you don't want to mess it up. You want to give it full beans in there, but at the same time you want to be a little bit cautious, knowing that if you make one small mistake and run a little bit wide, / cut the corner a little bit too early, then all your good work will become undone. That's what's happened to Alessio. What's happened to Failer as well. He did set a lap time as well. Let me just double check what his time was. A 1:29 flat, so a few tenths off the Ferrari driver's time, and obviously he is still yet without a time. We see a few more drivers coming out onto the pits. Scrippy and Kevin both out on the medium tyres. Be interesting to see what their pace was. Obviously, in the graphics of the intro, you saw the mediums were about 1.5 seconds slower than the softs. So you'd assume that Kevin will be looking to maybe sneak into the high 130s, maybe challenge Phillips first time with a 130.9. I think he'll be very satisfied with that.
And another thing you have to remember with the track limits, if you extend the final corner, I think it doesn't just invalidate the lap you're on, but also your next lap. So if you do that towards the end of qualifying, it could be quite detrimental, because then you won't have time to get in for a new set of tyres, and then you are... So at some tracks you might be able, if you get an invalid lap time just at the start of the circuit, you can just let off and then conserve your tyres and then go for a shot once you come to the end. But that's not an option here, because it will both invalidate the lap you're on and the next one you then have to start just after, because you gain such a large advantage if you just go wide there, because you can carry that much more speed.
Yeah, obviously track limits are very much the topic of discussion for most of the drivers here, and penalties obviously have played their part so far this season, and obviously you assume there'll be more penalties and whatnot to come throughout. The only penalties really we've had so far this season is actually time penalties. The drivers have mostly kept it clean, although last race was a little bit scuffy from a few drivers, a few incidents here or there, but obviously that was at Vietnam first ever race at Vietnam, for instance, were likely to occur. Scrippy is coming down to the penultimate few corners on his first attempt, obviously on those medium tyres. Set a purple first sector to the Mercedes driver. Let's see how his lap unfolds as he comes towards the Churchill's final corner. Takes it nice and easily up towards the line, and he sets a 1:30.3, which is just under a second behind Michael Tanitza, who's going out again. Kevin, meanwhile, is coming to the final corner as well, although his lap seems to be a little bit slower than Scrippy's. No, it's a little bit but very close between the two drivers who have set their lap on the medium tyres. A 1:30.3 for both of them. I think Tom is actually also on his flying lap. He is on the softs, interestingly. A bit late deploying his DRS down the back straight there.
Scar's lap time validated.
Did he? Well, fair enough. I probably should be getting a bit more alert. But yeah, it looks like a decent lap from Tom. I think he's still pushing, despite the fact that this lap won't count. Across the line should have 1:29.9, so we're going to put him on the front row. Obviously, as I mentioned, first podium last time out in Vietnam. But obviously, he could have won that race had he not made that costly mistake. So we're looking to make things right again in China, although it might not be a strong track for him. But we'll find out. That first lap time giving me alright impressions, and I think I'll be doing alright today.
And another driver just coming to the end of their lap is Michael Tanitsa, currently on provisional pole position, but has two medium runners behind him, although they are just under a second behind him, so he is quite a nice gap down. But he is on a new flying lap on this set of soft tyres, just coming through the final corner. Ooh, getting a bit of oversteer coming through there, but opens the DRS nonetheless. Comes across the line, it's a small improvement, but he got his lap time validated just at the end, it seems, because he had a small improvement, but his track turned red, so I think that oversteer at the final corner just got him too far out, and the game deemed it to be a track extension.
Kimmies is pushing in the Renault. Kimmies has commentated on for a while now in various leagues, but he's now in the big time in F1. He just runs wide.
Yeah.
I think he just got his lap time
validated.
The commentators, we didn't even mention his name, but like, nah. Regardless, I was about to say he's had a mixed bag of the first two races: 5th in Australia and 8th and 9th. So he's been consistent in the points, but has never really found that edge to potentially make his mark for a podium potentially. So hopefully things can go better for him this time.
I'm currently looking around just for the drivers that are into the pits or out on laps. Not many drivers have actually set a lap time, which is dangerous to do around China. We've seen a couple of drivers get invalidated lap times, that's why they aren't on the board, but it's cutting it rather close, coming with 6.5 minutes left to not have a lap time on the board, because then you'll only have one shot at the end of qualifying, and you risk doing what Michael did, what Tom did, what Fela has done, and what countless of other drivers have done, to get your lap time invalidated, and then you will be starting quite far down the field, which is not something you really want, although around China it's not too hard to overtake, but you risk being stuck in a DRS train. As here we... Oh, Philip there! Ooh! Coming out of that first snaky turn 1, 2, 3, then just getting a bit too eager on the throttle and spinning on his medium tyres. As James, do you have a backup invite?
I am validating my game files.
Oh, cool. So I see the game is playing trickery on us once again. So
yeah.
well known for our technical difficulties here, but hopefully they can get resolved. But nonetheless, 5.5 minutes left of qualifying. 3 drivers out on track. Michael, quite possibly on an in-lap. Philip, quite possibly on a in-lap as well after his spin, since those tyres won't be doing too well after that. And Kevin on an out-lap on a set of a set of used medium tyres, actually, I believe. So an interesting strategy there from him. I do believe you'll just have time to come into the pits. Actually, no, I don't think you will. I don't think you'll have time to do a lap and come into the pits again. So if he wants to have a fresh set to set his lap time on, he'll have to come into the pits at the end of this lap and then come out again. Another driver out on an out lap is Alicio. Alicio also on a set of medium tyres, although these are a completely new set of medium tyres. So he'll be looking to see what he's able to do on those to hope that he can get far up the field and possibly start on this set and then do that reverse strategy. It's just behind him. He has Michael Sinitsa on a 3-lap old set of soft tyres. I wonder if he's been doing long runs here in qualifying, but he will have an invalidated lap time this time round, and I am thinking that he'll come into the pits and change on to the set of tyres he decides to do his qualifying on, which I would expect to be a set of soft tyres with the time he has already set. Now, just keeping an eye on Kevin. Kevin going hard on this set of medium tyres he is strapped on currently, coming just to the beginning of Sector 2, that very windy sector that's quite quick, and you won't really see many overtakes come through here. Some people might be daring it through turn 7 or into turn 9 and 10 there with the braking zones if you just get the gap open, or otherwise we'll see overtakes here just as he comes through Sector 2 and sets a purple time in Sector 2, but coming into turn 11 where we might see someone be a bit opportunistic as well in the race. But now onto the back straight there. Kevin being purple in Sector 2, he might be able to just do a bit of trickery at the top with Michael going out possibly on a set of soft tyres, maybe on a set of mediums. But here, keeping an eye on Kevin, braking hard into turn 14 and turn 15, that small kink afterwards. Then coming down to the tricky left hand of turn 16 there. Just keep it nice and tight on the exit there. Coming up to the line, across line, it is improvement, but it's only 130.1 and it won't be enough for anything other than second place. Now Alicia just behind, getting a bit of oversteer on the exit of turn 14 there. Now through the final corner there. Oh, he goes a bit wide and gets the lap time invalidated. So catastrophe from Alicia. He won't be able to go again because, oh well, he'll have to be quick round the track and possibly ruin his tyres if he wants to go again and not start far down the grid. Who else will be coming to the end of their laps? Philip is going to be starting one on a set of medium tyres. Far behind, he has Tom. Tom coming out on the back straight now. What will he be able to do? Not quite sure what sectors he's been able to do up until this point. But he's down in 12th place. He doesn't have a lap time, although he was out earlier doing some laps. But guys, lap times invalidated back then. But they're braking just between the 150 and 100 meter board. Going flat out now on the exit, coming down to turn 16 there through the left-hander. Tight on the entry, tight on the exit, but keeps it clean. Now across line he goes. It is a 130.5, up into 5th or 4th place he goes. Behind, it'll be the McLaren starting their laps. Same with the Michael Tanitza just behind them. What about Paris? Paris is on a lap. Paris is on a lap on a set of medium tyres. He will be coming down to the end of that back straight there. Does a bit of lifting and coasting, or else that might have been just the graphics being a bit weird there. But he is coming up to the end now, but goes into the pits. Paris won't be setting a lap time in this qualifying session. Now let's look at Philip. Philip now braking hard into that second to last corner. Then it'll be the final left-hander coming through there. Tight on the entry, tight on the exit. Keeps it clean, opens the DRS up to the line. He goes. He doesn't improve. He won't be starting higher than 5th place. Behind, Scrippi will be starting his lap as the time is just slowly ticking down. But now Tom is not going to be doing anything. He is backed off his time. He is starting no higher than 4th as time runs out. Behind, you have the two McLarens. Camille with an invalidated lap time. Valo on set of medium tyres goes purple in Sector 2. He's out on the back straight now. He'll be opening the DRS just about now. But just going flat out on a set of medium tyres. Purple in Sector 2. What will he be able to do? Braking just before the 100 meter board. Shifting down to 3rd gear on the exit there. Doing it nicely. Having it clean. Then coming into the final corner Again, tight on entry and exit, keeps it clean, opens the DRS to the line, goes third fastest, 1:30.0. Behind Michael Tanitsa and validates his lap time. Further behind that, it is Alicio, possibly backed off or still going. Alicia's still going across the line. No, and validates a lap time from him. Further up, it'll be Scrippy. Scrippy is still pushing. 1 lap old, medium tyres for him. Coming in to the hairpin of turn 14. Locks up on the front right tyre, something we've seen many drivers do, but right behind him you'll have Philip. If he decides to finish this lap, he will. Keeps it clean on the exit, doesn't invalidate up to the line. It is a slight improvement, and actually pushes Tom down to 5th, but Scribble will start no higher than 4th, and Philip decides to go into the pits. But Michael takes pole position on a set of soft tyres, but everyone outside the top 6 not putting in a lap time. So now, as we'll just wait for the final couple of drivers to just trundle around, and the game to decide to show us the full results screen, or we can just look at it there. But Michael Tanitsa 129.4, 0.601 gap down to Jan Fehler in second place. On the first row, Fehler will be on a set of medium tyres. Kevin as well, Scrippy and Tom and Philip all be on the medium tyres in that top 6. But interesting to see that not a single driver outside the top 6 got in a lap time. All of those drivers will have had invalidated lap times at some point through the session and just not been able to set times. But here we see it's Michael and Fehler on the front row. Then on the second row we have Kevin and Scrippy, and then Tom and Philip on the third row. Then on the fourth row we'll have Kimmy's and Alicio, and on the fifth row we'll have Warren and Paris. And then starting outside the top 10 we'll have Andinator and our championship leader Camille. So Camille doing the same that he did back at the Bahrain Grand Prix, starting from the back, or at least close to the back. Can't remember if he was in front of his teammate in second to last place, but at least here he's starting from the back of the grid. He'll be looking to do some counter strategy to the other drivers to just get that advantage, as we're joining here a bit of an overcast Shanghai International Circuit that might be spelling some rain towards the final parts of the race. What?
It could be sniffing some rain. It looks very, very dark. And I'm back, by the way. I managed to not click ready up instead of spectate. I managed to click spectate, so we're good to go.
Good. But yeah, the driver's just loading in, getting their setups, or at least the parts of their setup that they can modify, ready. And then we'll be seeing the drivers and seeing the strategies that they have chosen. If we just pull up the tyre graphic, and oh my. So Michael on pole position on used soft tyres, Fehler, Kevin, Scrippy and Tom on used mediums, and Philip on used soft. Everyone else, so that's Kimmy's, Alicia, Warren, Paris, Andinator and Camille on the hard tyres.
You know, when drivers choose hard, it's usually a minority, and they're going for the opportunist strategy, hoping for like a safety car or whatnot. But no, this is like the ideal strategy for everyone. Half of the field are on the hards, and half of them are on either the softs or the mediums. Obviously, Michael Tinitzer and Philip especially is going to really struggle. He needs to get a move on the opening lap, else his strategy will crumble. you can imagine, just like his softs will degrade extremely quick. But I did not expect I expected a few hard runners, but not every single driver to not set a lap time in qualifying to do so. But yeah, there you have it. They clearly, maybe they're preparing for rain. Maybe rain is forecast to the end of the race, or at the end of the race, and the hard tyres can get there. As Warren's actually spun on the formation lap there, trying to get heat into his tyres. Actually span through turn 12 and 13 there.
But what I'm thinking is that if the rain is forecasted towards the end, why didn't driver like Michael or Philip or any of the immediate, well, mostly Michael and Philip, why didn't they decide to at least qualify on a medium or hard tyre? Because if the rain comes towards the end, they would have already pitted once, whilst the hard drivers could possibly go directly onto a set of intermediate tyres if the rain comes. And maybe a medium runner could do the same. That's maybe what they're trying to do, stretching their strategy as the drivers just line up here on the grid.
Well, Michael's in a good position if he gets off the line well and keeps that P1. When he does pit, he'll be in clean air. So hopefully, for his case, he can make that soft strategy work. It'll be a much difficult task for Philip. But what do you have in store for this Chinese Grand Prix? You have soft runners, medium runners, and hard runners. And with the 5 red lights go out, we are underway. Can Michael get a good start? No! Failer surges up the inside, and just like last season, gets a brilliant start and leads into turn 1. There goes Scrippy and Philip, already getting a move on. I said I had to do so in my formation lap. And through goes the Williams into P3. Scrippy and Tom squabbling over P4 and P5 as they make their way out of the hairpin and down towards turn 5 and 6. Failer leads from the 2 soft runners of Tinitza and Philip. There goes Tom 97 trying to make a move around the outside of turn 4. Nothing happening there as we go on to the next couple of corners. Jan Failer made a brilliant start and takes the lead.
Yeah, but you'll have to be watching out for Michael as they come on to the back straight soon. It's a longer run, and with the slipstream here on lap 1, even though the DRS is not available yet, it's still a long run down the back straight with the slipstream. And some drivers from behind, maybe even Philip, they'll maybe have to watch out for him as he comes from behind with the slipstream. But now they slingshot out on the back straight. You can just see them, every single driver in one picture. But here comes Michael from behind on a set of soft tyres. Failer on the mediums, down the inside Michael goes, and and they go side by side into the final corner there. But it looks like Failer keeps the position. Michael has to slot in behind on that set of soft tyres. What about into turn 1? He'll have a better grip than Failer, and he's already drawn alongside. He'll be round the outside into turn 1, and it looks like he's gotten a position. But what about in the second part of that corner? It'll be Failer down the inside once again, but Michael will get the next inside there. But on the exit, it looks like Failer gets better traction. Failer keeps first place here as they begin lap 2, coming into sector 2, as the timing board just jumps round a bit. But Failer is still in the lead from Michael after that electric start. Philip down in 3rd place. Scrippy keeps 4th. But Tom staying 5th. But Kevin getting a terrible start, falling down to 6th. Falling 3 positions down. A couple of other drivers having good start. Paris jumping up 2 positions into 8th place from 10th. But that is about it. Philip will be hoping that he can hang on to the battle for this first place and hope that he can get a move on at some point. But Michael behind Failer, he'll be hoping that he can get a move on for first place to not ruin his soft tyres. But down this straight, he'll be under pressure from Philip as he comes from behind there, draws to the right hand side. They're both on the soft tyre, you have to remember. Coming in to the hairpin there, all 3 drivers at the front lock up, but Philip goes down the inside, keeps it down the inside. He'll be round the outside through the final corner, but gets the position even before the braking zone has ended and before they turn in. So Philip now goes up into 2nd place from Michael in 3rd, and Failer still leads the race on those medium tyres.
I'm back again, yay!
Hey.
Didn't seem like I missed much though. Tinitza down to 3rd, obviously. Those soft tyres seem like they are still working, especially for Philip. Tinitza not so much. But yeah, I'm surprised that Philip's pace is quite extraordinary considering his qualifying times weren't too electrifying compared to the Red Bull of Tinitza. But further behind, we've got everyone pretty much settling down into rhythm. Obviously, the hard runners are following on with their race. Camille at the back of the field, his teammate at the front. It's a big old McLaren sandwich with a whole load of fillings. Jan Failer still continuing to lead the way, and Philip will actually get DRS down towards turn 14, so we'll see
Everyone will have
make the move.
DRS.
True, yeah, it's now been activated, although my intervals are not showing up for the time being, but we'll make do with what we've got. Philip is a bit too far behind. Kevin's getting close to Tom, though, in the racing points. Tom has DRS as well to benefit him, but Kevin's going to dart down the inside, is he? Tom locks up, Kevin locks up into the side of Tom, but thankfully no wing damage was a result of that, and they stay as they were in 5th and 6th. Further behind, I think Warren and Andrea were getting close to contact and battling down in for the last point paying position at the moment. Andrea gets close towards turn 1, but alas, stays in P11.
Yeah, now looking at the front once again, and actually no, behind Warren.
Yeah, there was contact with Andrea and Warren.
Oh, there were, because Warren now down into last place. Camille goes up into 11th, just one position off the points there, as Warren was just thinking for a second to go for the move. Was just a bit too far behind to dive it down the inside there. But again, looking towards the front, those two soft runners, they are beginning to lose a bit of time up to Failer. Philip's still able to hang on to the DRS just on this occasion, or will he just fall outside? It's going to be close. I don't think he's got it. Passing the line, I think it was second and 17 thousandths off. So coming down the back straight, I don't think Philip will have any DRS. What about Michael? So, Michael beyond will have it, but there goes Scrippy. Oh my God, the amount of speed he got out of that long old right-hander. Before that straight, he went down the inside, gets the position up into 3rd place. So those soft runners are falling off the cliff now just a bit, and they'll be thinking soon about coming in for a change of tyres with the amount of grip Michael was losing out the long right-hander turn 13 there onto the back straight.
Alessio got past Kevin for good measure, so his hards are working. Just like last time out. Hopefully this time he can avoid contact with Kevin like he couldn't last time out.
Yeah, of course, it's something you really want to avoid in a Grand Prix where you're taking that alternate strategy on a set of mediums or hard tyres, because if you get that damage early on, you'll either be going long into the Grand Prix and losing a lot of time, or you'll be having to pit before you intended to, and sometimes you even screw up your strategy and have to go on to a 2-stop strategy instead of that preferred 1-stop where you just switch around what tyre you're using compared to the other runners. As now at the front, just keeping an eye on those soft and medium runners. Looks like Scrippy was able to catch up a bit to Philip, but not enough. But now as they come onto the back straight, Scrippy, of course, had a fantastic run on Michael on the last lap and will have the DRS on Philip up for 2nd place, but I don't think he'll get close enough. No, he won't. But behind there, Tom able to go for the move down the inside. He goes for 5th place on Michael. So Michael completely falling off the cliff there through that long turn 13, just not getting the grip to be able to go out and properly get the grip to get the speed down the back straight. So he'll be surely looking to go in for a pit stop sooner rather than later to go on to possibly a hard tyre, since he can't make it to the medium on a medium. He won't make it to the end on a medium tyre, I'm sure of that. So he will be having to go on to a set of hard tyres if he pits now, and I am pretty confident that it would be a good idea for him to go on and pit this lap, since he's been losing 3 positions in the last 3 laps just down that back straight, where he's just not getting the grip out of turn 13, and then the driver's just being able to fly past, as now he's really under pressure from Alicia there behind in 6th place. Alicia will be looking to go for the move sooner rather than later, as oh my, Michael in front gets a 3-second time penalty there. Not what he would have wanted, including what he's already having with those soft tyres. Coming through turn 13 now there, Alicia just having a bit of squirrel on the exit there, but has the better grip, has more speed down the straight, goes for the move even before the DRS opens, and there he's passed, but behind comes Kevin as well. Kevin goes for the move. What about Parrish from behind? Will Parrish go for the move as well? Yes, he will, down the inside of Michael. Michael losing even more position now. Go down to 8th place. Will he be pitting this lap? Yes, he will. The same does Philip. So Michael and Philip pitting on this lap, understandably. They were losing time left, right and centre. Michael more than any of them though. So Michael, he'll be quite far behind. Plus, he has to serve a 3-second time penalty come the end of the race. So he must be fuming in the cockpit, just having trouble getting his head down, but he'll have to try and concentrate and having to try and go as quick as he can on the set of hard tyres to the end, with just about 22 laps to go. So there will be quite worn towards the end, but hopefully he can get something out of this race compared to the other drivers. And now looking at Tom, 97, he's up into 3rd place, jumping up 2 positions from where he started. He will be looking to go for the move on Scrippy now, down the back straight. Scrippy struggling there in front, coming out onto the back straight there. Tom will be opening the DRS behind there, coming in to turn 14. Will he go for the move along from behind? Oh, locks up on both of the front tyres, but there, just a bit of contact. Coming out on the exit, he was just going slightly for the move, and then there just was a bit of contact there on the wheels, but no front wing loss. But now into turn 1, he goes down the inside for the move. It's opportunistic into turn 1, but he gets the move done easily there before the braking zone started. But now looking at Scrippy there, he'll be looking to go down the inside, but he decides to pull out and not do anything sensibly from him. Further up ahead there, Jan Fehler with a 3.3 second gap down to 2nd place. He's really been able to just stretch a gap down to the drivers behind. And further behind as well, no driver really able to properly go for a move, as they're kind of stuck in these DRS trains that you often see on a track like Shanghai, where you have these long straights with the DRS able to be activated. But hopefully we can be able to see some moves, as just looking at Kevin here for 5th place. Kevin, he'll be hoping to gain some traction in the championship. He's down in 7th place, 5 points up to Tom in front. But now he'll be gaining some traction on Alicio down at the back straight. Alicio, he will have DRS though on the driver in front. But coming down to the hairpin, is anyone able to go for a move? Scrippy won't be, Kevin won't be, Andinator won't be. Further behind, Camille won't be either. Camille in 9th place, our current championship leader, has jumped up on track 4 positions, but in all honesty only really 1 position, going in front of Warren there. So he'll be hoping that he can get some traction down on the drivers in front, but he's only really able to just carry on behind Kim. He's not really able to go for the move on that 8th place, and that could be detrimental for his race if he isn't able to get anything in front here in the early stages, because these tyres in this hot air behind this large train in front of him will be struggling quicker than the drivers in front. Plus you'll have the dirty end losing a bit of time every single lap. So just following behind probably isn't the best strategy. But if you look at the ERS, he's saving a lot. So I'm sure that when he gets the opportunity to go for a move, he will be bang on immediately. As now all the drivers will be coming to the back straight. If we then just line up to the front of the train, we'll be looking at a driver like Alicio or Scrippy to go for the move as they come down the back straight. Everybody's opening the DRS. Scrippy, quite a large gap to Tom. Alicio, a large gap in front. But what about Kevin behind? He won't be able to go for the move. What about Paris and Donator? No, but Camille further behind tried to go around the outside and got the position there from Kimi. He now goes up into 8th place. As I was talking about, he was needing to go for these moves now, and it looks like he's just gone and done it. Puts in the fastest lap of the race here as they come on to lap 10. So Camille now, he will be looking in front now for the drivers of the likes of Andonator and Paris as well. Andonator and Paris, of course, they are the other two drivers fighting in this championship primarily. Andonator in 2nd place and Paris in 3rd, and then the championship leader just behind them in 8th place. So they've kind of just done a flip off the standings, just on these 3 positions, 6th, 7th and 8th here in the race currently. But Camille will hoping that he can get past and gain some points on them. Currently though, he will just be losing a single point, I believe, because he will get that fastest lap since he is of course within the top 10, but I'm unsure if that will be able to carry on to the end. Of course, these drivers on the hard tyres will be looking to go on to possibly a set of soft tyres come the end of the Grand Prix. But now coming down the straight now, Andonator will be looking to go for the move on Paris into the braking zone further up ahead. No one really able to go for the move Scrippy was thinking about, but there Alicio goes for the move a bit on Scrippy, but had to pull out once they gained some traction in the traction zone afterwards. Paris not able to go for any moves. Camille again stuck behind now. That is now in 8th place instead of 9th before, as they come on to the next lap. Baylor having just about 4 seconds at the front there, so he is really able to just pull out that gap as the drivers behind him is in a major train all the way from 2nd place down to 9th, and just not able to go for any moves or catch up to him as he's doing well in that clean air on a set of medium tyres. They will slowly though be coming to the end of their lifetime, whilst these hard tyres will be in the middle of their prime. Philip and Michael behind, they'll slowly also be getting their tyres up to temperature and getting them in their prime operating. So they'll slowly be catching up to the likes of Warren and Kimmy's at the back of this train, and ultimately they will be catching the likes of Phelan in the front, as his tyres will slowly be falling off here. So we're just staying on board with Camille. Just got a bit of oversteer as he came on to the back straight. As we'll just follow on this train, see any drivers able to go for any positions there. Scrippy won't, further behind actually. Paris was close but wasn't able to do so. A couple of drivers lock up, you just see that white smoke. But nonetheless, everyone staying in their positions for now as Phelan decides to go into the pits on this lap. Same does Scrippy and same does Kevin. So Tom, the only driver on the medium tyres, deciding to go on for one more lap. So he'll be just trying to get the best in lap as possible, as the drivers behind will be trying to get the best possible out lap. Everyone then going on to a set of hard tyres, as I think Scrippy has jumped the likes of Kevin in the pits, as there Philip gets by. So Phelan still out in what is technically the provisional lead. Philip though jumps and goes up on into 2nd place. Scrippy in 3rd, Kevin in 4th, and Michael will be in 5th if everything sorts out like they normally do. Although we will have Tom in possibly on this lap, but he's still will have to watch out for the drivers around him, since they are on that set of hard tyres that will be most likely doing better than his medium tyres as they now come on to the back straight. The drivers now opening the DRS, coming down to the hairpin. Any one of them able to go for the move? It doesn't look like it. So the drivers, as I mentioned before, just stuck in this DRS train. No one able to go for the move, as you just see there. Tom continuing straight on in the final corner and going into the pits. Let's see where he will be exiting, as Paris there sets in the fastest lap time as of yet here as they come on to lap 13. But Tom there stops in his pit box, straps on a set of tyres, and is stopped. No, he's going again. He's out of the pits there. Oh, and he's side by side with Philip there, as my game had a hard time updating his position there. But it looks like he just gets... actually, no, sorry, that was Scrippy. Completely mistook the car there. Of course, Scrippy behind there. Tom just goes just in front of Scrippy there. So well done to Tom in 9th place now. So we have the top 6 still on the set of hard tyres they started their Grand Prix on. Then we'll have Failer on a completely new set of hard tyres. Philip behind on 5-lap olds. Then Tom, Scrippy and Kevin behind him on new set of hards. And then Michael Tsanitsa in last place, also on a set of 5-lap old hard tyres. But now we're seeing a situation that we rarely see, and that is that every single driver is on the same compound of tyre, albeit on different amount of laps and different amounts of wear, but all on the same tyre, as Michael gets another 3-second time penalty as Paris goes into the pit. What tyre will he be going on to? As there comes Scrippy there on Tom 97. Goes down the inside and gets the position. Just a bit of argy-bargy from him, but nonetheless got the position through that hairpin of turn 15. But interesting to see Paris coming into the pits. He'll be coming on to a set of medium tyres. He'll be having to do at least 14 laps on that tyre. So I'm not sure if that's him going for the 1-stop, or if he's looking to do a 2-stop onto a set of softs or another set of medium tyres. But that will all be to come towards the end of the Grand Prix, as he will, in comparison to these drivers, be on the better tyre. And if he wants to get a 2-stop strategy to work, he will be having to go for the moves quite quickly here, and he'll have to get a move on, as he's just behind Tom 97. As you can see, it was clear to see he had that overspeed through the 2nd sector, but now coming into the 3rd sector, passing the DRS detection point, just that white line on the track. But Paris down the back straight, Tom just in front on 1 lap older tyres. Paris will be having the DRS on Tom. Tom will having the DRS in front. But will Paris be able to go for the move? Tom goes very defensive there. But there goes Paris down the inside. It's going to be a double move there. There's contact. But it's just a contact on the tyres. And he won't be spinning round as there's contact with Scrippy in front. But keeps it nicely there. Philip gets a time penalty as Warren and Andinator pits on this lap for the set of medium tyres. They will be coming out behind Kevin. I believe, no, Andinator and Kevin will be fighting there. It looks like Andinator stays in front of Kevin, but Warren out behind Michael in last place. So interesting to see how it all shapes out here after the at least first round of pit stops here, with just about 13 laps to go off the Grand Prix. The drivers still on the hard tyres, they will slowly be feeling that wear on the tyres, whilst the drivers that's just come on to the hards and mediums will really be feeling the pace there. There goes Andernator on, I believe that was Tom, down the inside of turn 11. Not really the place you usually see a pass, because now Tom will be coming from behind with DRS down the back straight, since Andernator got the pass before the detection point, although Andernator will still have the DRS on the drivers in front, as Camille and Kimmy's now goes into the pits. Where will they come out? As just behind we're seeing battling between Warren and Michael, but just keeping an eye on Kimmy's and Camille, both on to a set of medium tyres, as they're slowly just making their way through the pit lane, and they will be out. Camille will be out in front of Warren, the same will Kimmy's, so they are down in 9th and 10th. So now the only driver to miss their pit stop in this race is Alicio. But now we once again will be seeing different strategies. But let's just go from the interval onto the leader times. Alicio has a 27-second gap down to 10th place of Kimmy's. So he will, I think he'll get out just in front, since I do believe you'll lose just about 25 seconds in the pit lane, but I'm not quite sure of that. As we will see the drivers now making their way onto the back straight. Alicio just at the end of it, and then he will possibly come into the pits. Looking at that map at the bottom, yes he does, just flies into that pit entry instead of going to the left to start a new lap on track, but do it with a rather slowing of the car. But further up ahead we're seeing battling between Scrippy and Philip there. They are on the same set of tyres, albeit a different age. But now Alicio, he is driving once again, coming down, and will be coming out on the exit there. There will be some battling, it will be close there. Comes out in 6th place, just in front of Tom 97. Tom 97 behind there, having to defend a bit from Kevin, but able to stay in his 7th place. But there Alicio on a set of, I'm not quite sure what's going on with Kevin there. Kevin pulled over to the side as he's turning around now. What's going on with Kevin? Kevin now coming back on track. Could that have been a wheel disconnect or something? I don't know, as that was very strange to see. As further ahead we're seeing battling between Andernator and Alicio. Andernator down the inside gets the position up into 6th, but Andernator now will be looking to go for the move on Philip there. Down the inside he goes into turn 11, gets the position done now through the long right hander onto the back straight. But Kevin in 12th place now with quite a large gap, just went on to the runoff area and then was parked there for a second, then turned around and resumed racing. So unsure what happened to him, but now keep an eye on what's going on here. There's Camille, he goes for it and he hits Philip there. Philip gets just half spun round by him before ghosting, so they'll be side by side. Camille conceding the position to him, but just losing a single position there. Down they go, but Philip, he'll be fuming in the cockpit after just being tapped a bit by Camille. Camille went for the move on, I think that was Kimmy's, and then just locked up on both front tyres and not being able to stop in time. As here they go on to lap 18. Fortunately, no front wing was lost, but now he'll be looking to go for the move on Philip cleanly. He goes down the inside there, not the place you usually see drivers go for the move there in turn 6, down the hill there for a bit of braking, but gets the position nonetheless. Up into 7th he goes. So Camille there, eager to do something for his championship positions, as I believe Kevin has pulled into the pits and has retired from the race. Not sure what's gone on with him. Could maybe have been a disconnect of some controller or the likes, as now his AI car will be looking for a place to park his car, most likely in a safe spot in Sector 1. But now we're down to 11 drivers. As further ahead there, you're seeing battling between Andinator and Paris. But although there, Paris attacking, he'll be going around the outside in the final corner, but just decides to stay behind, not to go for the move, as Kevin's AI still makes his way around the track. As Philip there now gets a 3-second time penalty. He's now on 6 seconds worth of penalties. Not what he would have wanted, but Alicia there now on Paris. Argy gets the position. Up into 4th place he goes. So Alicia there looking to get the positions down, but he doesn't do it the cleanest. But there further ahead, fighting between the two Mercedes cars. Andinator going down the inside and gets the position of Scrippy. Scrippy has to make do with 3rd place for now. But will he be able to go for the move on Andinator? I don't think so, as Andinator is on those better tyres. But now let's look at Alicia there behind, trying to go for the move on Scrippy, as there's battling further behind. But let's just keep an eye on this for the final podium position. Alicia behind Scrippy into turn 11 they come. But Alicia just stays behind Scrippy on that set of medium tyres compared to the set of hard tyres in front. But now through the right-hander they come onto the back straight. Both of the drivers getting a good run, and I believe both of the drivers will have the DRS, but there Alicia with the better run behind pulls to the right-hand side, and I think he'll have the position before the braking zone begins. They're able to pull back onto the line there, just getting close with the front wings. But now look at Paris behind, just skating on the exit there. He'll be looking to go for the move on Scrippy sooner rather than later. Coming on to lap 20 now, these drivers are. Failer still with a good gap in front, with just 4.5 seconds behind. As now you're seeing further behind Tom 97 on that set of hard tyres. He'll be hoping to be able to go for some moves sooner rather than later if he wants his strategy to be anything well, instead of just staying down in 8th place. If we just look at the position changes in this Grand Prix, Tom losing 3 positions from where he started, compared to another driver gaining big like Andinator in 2nd place, gaining 9 positions. Then a driver like Michael having a catastrophe of a race, starting on the front row, starting in pole position. He has fallen all the way down to last place of the drivers still in this Grand Prix, in 11th place there, with 7.5 seconds to the driver in front. So he won't be very happy with how his race has gone. But a driver I think is pretty happy is Alicia, along with Andinator there. Alicia was getting close, almost going for the move, but just a bit too far behind to do it. The same with Paris behind. Paris will be happy as well. He has jumped up 5 positions, but a driver even happier must be Camille, just behind in 6th place. And as things stand, he will be losing a bit of points to his championship rivals, but I don't think he'll be losing enough to lose the top spot, although I'm not quite sure on that. And I think Camille will just be able to hold on with Andinator's 2nd place and his 6th, and then with Paris in front, Paris won't really be gaining any traction. He'll be losing to Andinator, but gaining on Camille, but only slightly. So none of these drivers really able to make progress, at least not Paris. But Andinator, he will be closing right up in the championship standings as things stand. But Alicia behind him, he'll be doing his utmost to not have that happen, since he will be hoping to get that 2nd place in the Grand Prix, so he can possibly move up into 3rd place in the championship and defend himself from Warren in 5th. But now coming into the hairpin, not able to go for the move this time round. We're coming into the closing stages of the Grand Prix. It has to be now if the drivers really want to get some moves done. But further behind, we saw Tom losing a position to Rory as Camille there not doing the best for his chances of staying in first place, getting himself a 3-second time penalty. So his race has gone from quite okay to not the best. With that time penalty in 6th place, he will be losing out to, I think that's 3 drivers behind. He'll be dropping down to 9th place come the end of this Grand Prix due to things being that tight behind him in that train. But 2 drivers able to pull away from that train is Andanator and Alicia, along with Failer just in front. As there's yellow flag, sector 2. That is for Michael Tanitsa. Spun round just on the exit of turn 6 there. He's gotten a bit too eager on the throttle, and his race has just turned from bad to even worse. And you have to remember, just adding insult to injury, he does have 6 seconds worth of penalties. But look at this now. Alicia with the DRS there, going for the move for 2nd place and having the position made even before the braking zone begins, making that overtake like it was on the motorway. So well done to him, Alicia, going up into 2nd place, and I believe that means he will move up into 5th or 3rd place in the championship, getting all my positions turned around there as he also punches in the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But looking ahead, look at the gap to Jan Failer. Dropped from 4.7 seconds a couple of laps ago to now, with just about 4.5 laps to go, it is down to 1.7. Alicia currently looking for an opportunity to win this race, as he's really cutting that gap down to Jan Failer in front. And Andanator, he'll just be sitting behind, hoping he can stay within the DRS of Alicia, and hope that he can just carry with him up there, and then we'll all of a sudden have a 3-way fight for the Grand Prix win. As now the gap is down to 3 or 1.2 seconds there, just falling further and further. Jan Failer really feeling that tyre wear on his 10 laps old hard tyres, and Alicia behind only, or I say only, 5 laps old medium tyres. It is of course a bit there, as he's within the DRS range now, coming on to the start finish straight as they come on to lap 24. 5 laps to go as both Paris and Scrippy behind gets a 3-second time penalty. The same does Tom. So Paris, Scrippy and Tom all getting unfortunate through the final corner, as they just got a bit too eager to get the best exit onto the new lap. But look at this Alicia on to the back of Jan Failer. 5 tenths or 4.5 tenths now up to Jan Failer. It's going to be close down the back straight, but I do believe that Alicia will be close enough, as he's just catching and catching and catching. As further beyond we're seeing battling in that train, but let's just keep an eye for first place in this Grand Prix as they come on to the back straight. Alicia will be in that slipstream, but he'll first have to battle Dirty Air through the right-hander, but behind he'll have Andanator. Andanator possibly looking for a double overtake there, but here comes Alicia on Jan Failer. Alicia there just going past, but Failer fights back on the outside, but not able to get the traction down on the exit, so he'll stay behind in 2nd place. So Alicia going up to 1st place in this Grand Prix as they come on to lap 25, and Alicia already pulling a gap down, and Andanator will already now be under pressure Also, Failer will be under pressure from Andinator there, as I again gets the positions turned round. But Andinator in 3rd place on 9 laps old medium tyres will be feeling a bit of the same tyre wear as Jan Failer in front on 12 lap old hard tyres. So you could almost say that Failer's hard tyres are in a better condition. But now Andinator just so ever close to Failer in front. Failer that has led this, or in theory led this Grand Prix, just except for the pit stops from lights to now as Alicia went past him. But as he got that electrical start at the beginning, he was just able to pull a gap down to the other competitors, but he isn't able to hold on anymore. Will he be able to hold on to 2nd place though? He won't have the DRS of Alicia, I don't think so at least. But Andinator behind will have the DRS on Failer, and look at how much he's catching there. Failer going defensive, but Andinator going attacking on the inside there. There was a bit of contact there with the wheel banging as they're side by side into turn 15 there. Down into turn 16, the left-hander they come into, still side by side, but Failer concedes the position and goes down to 3rd place, the final podium position. But nonetheless, Failer, not often he gets podium positions with 3 laps to go. Alicia in front, Andinator in 2nd, Failer in 3rd, but Paris down in 4th place. I will just have to look down for the further battling that goes on in the midfield here, as we've been obsessed with what happened at the front there, and Warren spun round by Camille in the first corner there. Luckily we just caught that, but Camille there spinning round Warren, and then Camille there deciding to just concede the position back willingly, just there coming over the crest there. Nice sportsmanship by him. But now look at Kimmy's for 5th place on Scrippy. Will he be able to go for the move? He's on the medium tyres, Scrippy is on the hard tyres. You just saw how much grip Kimmy's was getting in that sector too, but it's just so hard to overtake through there, so we'll be having to wait for the back straight. But I'm unsure if you'll be able to get the position, as Paris in front won't have the DRS, but Scrippy will on him. So we might be able to see a double overtake from Kimmy's if he gets the speed properly down. Look at this now, he opens the DRS. Same does Scrippy though in front. Will any of them be able to go for the move there? Scrippy around the outside of Paris into the hairpin. He's able to hold down the traction, but there comes Kimmy's behind on the medium tyres, but unable to keep the traction properly down through the higher gears, and then has to stay behind now. But into turn 1, 2 and 3, will any of them be able to go for the move? No, as we have 2 laps left in the Grand Prix. None of the positions for the front is going to be changing, I don't think so at least, but that doesn't mean that we won't be seeing battling further down. Here for 5th place we're seeing, or sorry, 4th place, it's going to be ever so tight, with Paris having a 5/10 gap down to Scrippy, with 2/10 down to Kimmy's. So it's just so close, but I think Kimmy's will be the first driver we'll see having any overtakes, as he is down there so close to Scrippy and just getting the better traction through these corners and just able to get that grip on the tyres. But now into turn 11, will he be able to go for the move? I don't think so. He has to stay behind, coming up to the DRS detection line, passing it there. So Scrippy will have DRS on Paris, Kimmy's will have on Scrippy as the last lap went by. But now coming down the back straight, Scrippy opening the DRS, same does Kimmy's behind. Scrippy now on Paris, not able to go for the move, neither is Kimmy's behind. What about any of the drivers further back? No, they're too far back. But Failer not able to go for any moves on Andinator, even though he's in that DRS range. Final lap of the Grand Prix, Alicia 2.5 seconds, Andinator 5/10 down to Failer. So we might be seeing some battling for 2nd place, but I find it a bit unlikely here on the final lap I think where we'll be looking for positions changing are Paris, Scrippy and Kimmy's. 4th, 5th and 6th place. 13 laps old medium tyres, 15 laps old hard tyres and 11 laps old medium tyres. It's going to be very, very close as they're coming now through sector 2. We're seeing again Kimmy's able to have that grip down behind Scrippy, but he isn't as close as he's been on the other laps. But Scrippy is closer to Paris than he's been on the other laps, although I don't think he's close enough to go for the move, as they are all three lock up into turn 11, passing the DRS detection point. Through the right hander they go on to the back straight. Kimmy's not able to get the best grip down in onto the final time. They go on to the back straight. Failer there, I was just seeing on the map, was thinking to go for a move, but I don't think he'll be able to. Scrippy there, trying to go around the outside. Switchback, he goes there for 4th place on the final lap of the Grand Prix. It'll be down to the final corner. They're side by side. Paris, better traction there. Comes through the final corner. He will take 4th, I believe, on track, but he won't take 4th on penalties. But Alicio crosses the line to take 1st place. Andonator 2nd, and Baylor takes his first podium of this season, I believe. Yes, he will. So great stuff from Baylor there. Not a driver we often see on the podium, but it's nice to see him up there every once in a while. But Kimmy's grabs 4th place in that fight. I think he was able to stay penaltyless in this Grand Prix. Paris takes 5th, Scrippy takes 6th, Tom takes 7th, Warren in 8th, Philip in 9th, and Camille will take the final points paying position, as here we have Michael Sinitsa crossing the line on a set of soft tyres. I am unsure if yours able to take the fastest lap, but he won't be getting a point for it since he's outside of the top 10. The game deciding to give driver of the day to Andonator, which I must agree with. He had a pretty good race there, fighting up through the field and able to stay penaltyless. Yes, I believe so. But there we see Alicio on the top step on the podium. Failer over there, a bit by himself, able to just celebrate that podium that he just gets every once in a while. Happy to see him, our coordinator for this league, of course. It is rare that he gets those good results, and he hasn't really been able to fight for any championships in the last couple of years. But we hope to see him back up at the top soon. But Licio takes the win, Andonator 2nd place, Failer takes 3rd, Kimmy's 4th, Paris in 5th, Scrippy 6th, Tom 97 in 7th, Warren in 8th, Philip in 9th, Camille takes the final point, Michael in 11th takes fastest lap but won't be getting a point for it, and Kevin had that mysterious DNF mid-race. Very strange to see what happened to him just in the 3rd corner, I believe, just not steering anymore, just going straight ahead and parking up before then getting back on the track, driving round and retiring in the pit lane. But what a race we saw today. The game deciding to be a bit annoying with the connection issues, meaning that I had to do most of the race alone, which won't be doing any well for my voice, but nonetheless these drivers always able to produce a good race. And James, I don't know if you're still with me, but if you are, what are your thoughts on the race that we just saw?
Hi, hello.
Oh.
Very good. Very enjoyable from a spectator's point of view. I would have liked to help you with your voice, but alas. Hopefully next week things are back to normal, but yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed that race. And yeah, Alessio takes his first win of the season. He's shown great pace for the first few races, but just hadn't been able to put it all together. But yeah, he managed to do so in China, and yeah, obviously Andonator getting a strong result after his first win, and Failer on the podium, which is great to see.
Yeah, and I believe with how these positions shaped out with Andinator's podium position and Camilo only
He's top of the
finishing
championship.
10th, yeah, he is off the lead and he's down into at least second place. I don't think Paris was able to overtake him. So Camille going down into second and Andinator taking over the lead in this championship after this 4th round in China. But we will, as always, be back next week for a newish track, you could almost say. Not the first time F1 has been there, but we haven't been there since 1985. It is, of course, the Circuit Sandvort next week. A track that I'm very much looking forward to see. I commentated on it with the F2 cars yesterday, and that was a very enjoyable race to see that. But the F1 cars will be taking to the track next week, and of course, we hope to see you then. And until then, have a good one, and goodbye.